He does. How you guys doing?
I'll take you on.
Ready back there? Pitch whenever you're ready.
Okay. We're a work in progress, and we've known Coach Barron since for a long time ago, and he's actually married to somebody I went to Princeton with, and so big fan of his. And I was saying earlier to him, he's like one of the most thoughtful human beings on the planet. He's doing such a good job with his team. They've had the absolute worst schedule in the country to start the season, 6 games in a row on the road, and they were all over the place. But he's so thoughtful. He asked me if we needed anything, and it just doesn't happen. I've never ever seen it ever, and I've been 20 years in coaching, and this says a lot about him, and his team is reflective of that. They're struggling a little bit. And we made some shots. We shot the ball very well tonight, and we have the ability to really shoot. So pleased about that. Good road win, and we got a tough contest on Saturday against GW.
Any adjustments on their number 14? He sort of had a quick start,
or he hurt us in the first half. He's a good player. He's so long, the kid White, and when he had that thunder dunk down the lane, I was like, whoa, that's big time play. They didn't make shots. They got a lot of open shots. I think we were a little fortunate tonight actually, and we took so many more free throws than they did. I mean, they're a big physical team, and I thought that played to our advantage.
How does that work, where you're able to play defense without fouling?
Well, we were in zone quite a bit, and sometimes that forces you to settle for some shots on the perimeter. I don't know. That's if you'd asked me that question, I was on the other end of it. It's a great question to stoke a coach up. So I'm sure Richard has a thought on that, but I thought we did a good job not fouling.
What did you see there, based on what you expected to see out of Maine tonight?
Well, we were really worried about 14, and I was really worried about their size. And we've been a really good defensive rebounding team the last few years. We've been struggling lately, and so I thought we went bigger. We can play a lot of different ways. I thought that helped us, but the zone that helped us a lot tonight. I think it bothered them. They made some really nice adjustments, but it got us the lead.
At what point did you really start to put that on? Was it kind of midway through the first half?
Yeah, midway through the first half, yeah.
And just referring back to the three-point shots, I think I saw 25.5% for the first 4 games of the season as a team, and 50% tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, like we can shoot. There's no doubt in my mind. We can really shoot it. We have a lot of guys that can make shots. I got guys on the bench that don't miss in practice. So, but we have one of the best shooters in the country in Kennedy. He's just such a problem. He has unlimited range. He stretches defenses out. You're really forced to game plan against him alone, and that helps everybody else out.
That was a season high for him. Is he had a career high higher than 28?
32 last year.
Okay. Well said.
Okay,
So thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, how are
back to class.
Coach, if you just want to start with the general statement.
Well, it was fun seeing Mitch before the game, and it was a little disappointing shaking his hand after the game. I thought Princeton did what they've done well this year. They were really good from the three-point line. They're a team that scores a lot of points from behind the three-point line, and Kennedy especially was extremely good. He's one of the best players we've seen all year, and I think we tried, obviously not well enough, but we tried to prepare our guys for what we would see with him, and he's pretty talented. So a lot of credit to them. I think two things kind of stand out to me with this game is, one, we lost our offensive rhythm when they went to a zone in the first half, and that's the first time this year we've seen a lot of extended possessions of zone, and it really kind of took the wind out of our sails, and we were not very sharp in our execution against the zone. And then I think in the second half we finally started being a little more aggressive in terms of getting the ball inside, whether it was against man or zone, and had some success on the offensive end, but we really just couldn't make up any ground defensively. And we tried some things that we just haven't worked on very much, trapping and pressing this year, just to try to get back. And obviously there was that in part led to the free throw disparity, but that was obviously a big part of the game too.
Questions for the players?
Very quick start for yourself individually, Isaiah. Did the zone change things up at all, or what happened there, do you suppose?
I don't know. I just tried to, play within the offense and shoot the ones that I thought I could make that were within the offense.
Either one of you, maybe just talk about the mood of the group right now. I mean, you knew there were going to be some growing pains here, and certainly that's been the case.
Yeah, coming into today, we were confident. We're trying to keep our hopes up, I guess, and we're committed to figuring this out. Today definitely hurt. We didn't execute the way we wanted to, and we didn't stay committed to what we need to stay committed to. But we have practice Friday, and we're going to bring it, and we're gonna turn this around.
Andrew, I was talking to a few Belfast elementary school basketball players that came, and we're really excited to see you play, a kid from Maine. What is that like?
That's great. Growing up in Maine, I always looked up to the higher level players that I got to see play and that coached me at camps. And in the past few years, I've got to coach a lot of kids at Pine Tree Camp and Ref at Gold Rush, and it's great to see them coming to the games and trying to be involved.
I also noticed the team before the game kind of went over and shook hands or fist bumped a lot of the fans. Is that something you guys always do?
Barron's kind of instilled that this year, just trying to connect more with the fans, and I think it's a good idea. I like it. It kind of draws us closer with the fans.
Isaiah, have you seen the team progressing?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
What do you see improving right now?
Togetherness, kind of buy-in into what the coaches are selling, and just mentally, I think we're a strong group, and the last thing we're going to do is give up, and I think that's a credit to the coaches.
Coach, they came into the game shooting 25% from the three-point line and shot 50% tonight. What were they doing, or what were you not doing that kind of fit into that?
Well, we don't have our hands up a lot of times. We play with our hands down, and obviously, the three-point line's been around, since I played. So people go into the gym, they go straight to that line, and that's the shot they practice the most. It's actually a lot easier shot than shots off the dribble. We've got machines that rebound the ball and throw it back to you. So when we allow guys to catch and shoot, it's like shooting a free throw. It's a easy rhythm shot, and it counts for 3 points. And so when our hands are down, we can't raise them up late and expect that that's somehow going to affect the ball after it's left their hand. And so a lot of it's our closeouts, and that's techniques that we're teaching, but we haven't quite learned yet. Sometimes there's a lag between the lesson learned and execution in practice, and when you get into games, it's very easy to fall back into bad habits. So it's no different than being on the range when you get out there and you start hitting golf balls and you get into a rhythm and you can do it right, and then you get out there and you haven't hit your 3-iron and 12 holes, and you pull it out of your bag and it feels awkward in your hand, and you can't just hit it. So some of these skills are skills that I think they just take repetition. You've got to do it over and over and over again, and we're browbeating these guys in practice about fundamentals. We're doing it in film, we're doing it in games, we did it after the game, in timeouts. So it's the same things that we've been talking about from the beginning are going to be the things we talk about throughout the year, and so a lot of it again just kind of comes back to fundamentals.
Pretty short bench the last couple of games, I think, and I'm just wondering if that's a reflection of, you got a lot of new guys and they're at different points of their development relative to playing at this level.
I think every game it can vary, but I think it comes from what you see in practice and the confidence that you have. Obviously, we had Andrew's playing a lot of minutes, but he feels good. We've got a lot of science and technology that tells us what somebody's output and load is and heart rates, and so we feel pretty comfortable in terms of where we are in terms of making those decisions about minutes that someone can play. And you know, we're a little bit banged up, obviously, in terms of, you know, our depth, but we want to have size on the court as much as we can. And, you know, that's probably one of the positives, you know, is that we've done, I think, a decent job of rebounding the ball this year. You know, that we've got to get some other people going. Andrew did a good job, Illy did a good job, and Sergio's a really good rebounding guard. We got to get some other people to get in there. There were some what seemed like key possessions where, you know, we all kind of stood and watched the ball bounce a couple times instead of pursuing. But we like to have that bigger lineup. It also helps in terms of, you know, shooting and passing over defense and all that sort of stuff. So we'd like to get as big and as versatile as we can.
I mean, I know it didn't come out the way you wanted it to, but what was it like just to finally get a chance to have a home game?
It was good.
Yeah.
I'd say we let down the fans a little bit, but we're going to keep working, and Tuesday against Fordham we'll be ready to show the fans what they want to see.
What do you suppose you got most out of that experience where you were basically on the road for a month, in terms of just, not for tonight, but just in terms of this is how we start this new phase of Maine basketball, and let's see what we can get out of this to build upon. Anything in particular that comes to mind from the 6 games on the road?
I think we can get a lot of confidence from it. We showed a lot of situations where we played with those high-level teams that we had to compete against, and if we can keep trying to execute for as much of the game as we can, then come conference we'll be up there with the top of the pack.
Is that part of your job, kind of, as guys that are back, to kind of keep everybody's chin up when things maybe aren't going quite as well as you would want?
Well, yes and no. I feel like everyone on the team has a voice, and we all respect each other's opinion and kind of leadership. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're the last guy on the bench or, you know, you play the most minutes. Whatever you have to say, we kind of value it.
Just a comment on Terry, and he's your one freshman out there playing. And, you know, how's he adjusting?
Well, Teron's had some really good games. This wasn't one of them for him. This wasn't his best effort, and I don't know. You know, I wish I had an easy answer on what to attribute it to. I would have either, you know, played him less or fixed whatever the problem was if I'd known it. But you know, he struggled with the shot a little bit today, and you know, we've had games where he's had a much more vocal presence on the floor running the show, and I think he got a little bit you know, out of that rhythm today. But he's also a freshman who's, you know, playing a lot of minutes and, you know, with a lot of expectations, both I think from himself within, and then obviously being a kid from Maine, there's some eyeballs on him and stuff. So, you know, he's a good player. He's got a lot of offensive skills. He's one of the quickest guys on our team. He's got really good angles on what he does, both cutting and defending. He changes speed and direction really well. I think he's got a very bright future, as does Steph, our other freshman, who you know, and David's a walk-on freshman. So we've got 3. You know, we're trying to redshirt Steph. That's the plan, and you know, if we can stay healthy enough, that'll be, you know, what we go with. But because we think he's got enormous potential, he's doing really well in practice, and you know, but with you know, some veterans with Illy and Vince there at the center with Mix, just feel like it, you know, the bigger payoff is when he's fully developed in 4 years from now. We'd want to have him sticking around.
Last question.
I was just going to ask about Misha. Is he going to play anytime soon?
No, Misha's out for the season. He tore his ACL in the Denver game, in the first game of the season. So both Denver and Solly will be out this season. I'm sorry?
Misha and Solly.
What did I say?
Denver.
Oh, Denver. Misha and Solly will both be out for the season with knee injuries.
Okay. You said Misha's injury was in the Denver game. Is that what you said? Yeah.
The very first game of the season.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.